Welcome back. We are really excited. This is where it's starting to happen. People are joining us. We're going to have conversations with more people besides, these two dodos, Rob and Chris. Hey, Chris, you know what? This is a great topic that you've been working on. You got one of your friends here, coaches. So introduce them and kind of get us into what we're talking about tonight.
All righty, folks. If you don't know Tony Gomes from Saddleback College, you should. Assistant coach there. He was assistant coach at Cañada College as well. And not only that, a little movie trivia. He was in the movie Moneyball.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Yep. So,
Nice.
Tony, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Chris. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, there's all this discussion and talk that's going on and going to courts and all this BS in regards to college players going to the Juco for 2 years and then getting 4 more years of eligibility
Mhm.
at the college or the university NCAA level.
Yeah.
Um, what are your thoughts on this? Because my thoughts are going to be a little crazy and be all over the place. So I want to hear your thoughts first and Rob's thoughts second, and then I'm going to jump in. All right, we good with that?
Yeah. Well, my first of all, my thought on that is, back when we played, you had 5 years to play for. So, you by the time you finish college, you're probably 21, 22 years old and ready to, start pro ball and stuff. Now you're looking at 26, 27-year-olds. You're looking at, guys playing 6, maybe possibly 8 years with red shirts and gray shirts and all these other things that are involved there. You're going to have 26 and 27-year-olds graduated from college. We have another Chris Winkie winning the Heisman Trophy. It's like I don't know if it's beneficial for a kid to get 6 years or 7 years to play, 5. It's really getting a little obnoxious, and I think, once you get a 27-year-old senior, is he projected to really be the player that he is if he's playing against a 19-year-old and you're 26? It's like, everybody wants the playing fields and everything to be fair. Life isn't fair. I understand that. I get you get what you get out of it, but I just don't like seeing kids probably spending 7 to 8 years in college. I just don't get it.
I agree. It's not the 20-year plan. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of my opinion. We'll get there in a second. Rob, what do you got for us?
The thing is that, when you bring that up, it's like I'm seeing multiple sides to the whole thing. You're considering that these kids are going to be there, like you said, 27 years old. And that as a coach, I want to hear Coach Gomes' opinion about working with an older, older athlete with some youngers coming in. And then it also leads to my question about the youngers. Like, it's backed up. Like Division I, JUCO's now getting backed up, right? So like, where do some of these athletes go? So it's backed up. So those are two questions that instantly come to mind that I'd love to hear as a coach, what you're seeing and what you're feeling in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, my job, when it comes to the clog and the D1 kickbacks and all the guys going back to JUCO and all that, I'm putting 9 players on the field no matter what. So when it comes down to it, I don't care if I got 30-year-olds or 25-year-olds in my dugout. 9 guys are going out on the field, and it's going to be the 9 baddest dudes in my dugout. So unfortunately, life isn't fair, and it's saying Little League anymore where everybody gets to play. I'm going to put my 9 best players on the field and put my best pitching rotation together, and we're going to go to battle. So, it's really squeezing out these younger guys that, aren't physically, you get your man strength when you're 23. Now, the 18 and 19-year-olds, they don't understand what man strength is. They're going to be at a complete disadvantage of even getting the opportunity to play when it comes down to, I mean, you got a man in the lineup, a dude, and then you got a kid just fresh out of high school who's 170, hasn't hit that 200, 210, 220 mark yet. You're talking about a very unfair playing field. This is why junior college baseball exists, for the guys that aren't prepared, that aren't technically ready for Division I.
Balls haven't dropped. Let's be honest here. The balls technically haven't dropped. I mean,
100%.
you see the big difference in the maturity level. I mean, and we're talking men, women, because you'll have a December 18-year-old and you'll have a January 19-year-old. They are not the same. They are two different because of just anatomy, period. And everybody matures differently. Like the guys down in the Dominican when I was coaching down there. Let's be honest, they grow up a lot faster than any of the kids in the United States do. You know,
100%. And their work ethic is, they're hungry. You
they
know,
are.
our Orange County people they're super talented, but they're also spoon fed and entitled. So let's just be honest with how people actually develop. The hunger is kind of disappearing. And then the talent. I mean, obviously the talent's there, but the hunger with the talent is obviously the guys that make it.
Exactly. True, true, true. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of get on my soapbox here. And it kind of goes a little bit of both ways. So back in, I don't know, 60s or so, 50s up to the 60s, your junior colleges used to be your feeder programs for universities. The best example I can use was Holy Cross for Notre Dame back then. Now they went away from that. Holy Cross became a 4-year university. Now I can see that starting to come back in if this does go through. You're going to have a 2-year university. It's going to basically be the farm system. Is it going to be for X university, Y university, a Z university? It truly depends. And I think you're going to start to see some of this money trickle down from the NILs from the universities down into the JCs, I think a little bit more now, due to the fact that these are the farm clubs for the NCAA. Secondary to that, all that, you're going to get rid of that red shirt. You're going to probably get rid of that gray shirt and that plaid shirt or whatever they want to go from there. So you're going to see where I coached at CSM softball, who's got a phenomenal program coached by Coach Borg. She's going to be sending ball players wherever she can, how she can. Now, does that mean that it's going to narrow down to, okay, you're sending me ball players? Or is she going to still be able to have that option and send them out to all the ball players? Same with you being able to send ball players all over the nation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they're technically going to be labeled to a feeder program. I mean, you have the whole access to the country. Your players are going to go, whoever recruits them. I don't see that, that ever going away. I just think, the freshman playing against the 5th-year senior, what chance does that kid have a chance to play? I mean, he's got no shot, 0 shot.
None.
So that's all. My only concern with that is that area right there.
So why was this decision brought then? Like, what is the benefit that the bodies that be decided that this was a good idea?
That's a great question. I don't even know who even started the ball rolling on this, but I don't think if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. I mean, we've all played under the 4-year rule, and it's worked out for all of us. And so I didn't see the need to change it. Now, if you're addressing injuries and red shirts and those types of things, and there's an easier way for a kid to get a year back when he sustains a bad injury at the beginning of the year, I'm all for that. But I just don't think there was a need for the change. It's already backed up because of COVID. The transfer portal is already flooded. It's like this situation is going to make things even worse. It's not going to fix anything.
So let me ask this, because there are like the military
in a little bit though. So go ahead.
What was that?
We'll get into that transfer.
Oh yes.
Well, there we go.
I've been staying away from it because I can go off.
Oh God. Yeah.
But I'm in the mode of where we're at right now, right? So like it's starting to lead me to the belief that colleges have to consider, or can they consider, like the military academies have JV teams and they play and their time doesn't start and the kids just aren't ready. Do you think even all the way down to the Juco level that you guys could create JV baseball teams that play other colleges just to get the amount of kids that are going to be backed up in there and get playing?
That's what high school was for. I mean, it's just like, I just don't understand. If you're not ready, then it's time for you to be a paramedic or a fireman or something. But, the world, there's a 1%ers of the 1%ers. We're going to find out who those are real quick. It's not here. How long can we give you to develop and get ready? You're either a dude or you're not. You're either going on and playing or you're not. And it's time to do something else with your life. It's again, this is a cruel world we live in. And if you're not if you're not in that 5 to 4% of the guys who play the game, it's time for you to consider doing something else.
Yeah, I can understand that. But then again, you're talking about, like you said, that man muscle, that man strength comes in at 23, and now you're actually, you're that freshman in college, and you're having to battle against that. You still have that consideration at the same time, right?
100%,
If
yeah.
you're 23 and you haven't moved on, maybe you should be thinking about moving on too.
100%. And that's the opposite side of my point that I made is like, if you're 23 and you're still in college and you haven't been drafted or you haven't done anything, hopefully you get that degree in your hands so you can, provide for your family and stuff moving forward and develop a career. But yeah, I mean, I think the 18 and 19, the 18, 19-year-old who shows all of the ability and then is projected to be a dude when he gets his man strength. That's what it's all about. It's not having a false identifying guy who's 22 years old at Juco hitting 17 bombs when he'd probably hit 4 in pro ball. It's just a tough way to look at the game for me.
Yeah, and you have to consider
saying, what are you going to do when they come out and punch you in the mouth? What are you going to do? Sit there and walk away or cry? Or are you going to go back and you're going to break their neck? I mean, Coach Gar we both played for Coach Garcia.
Yeah.
One of the most phenomenal coaches I've ever met in my life, by the way. I got to throw that out there. Always got to give him a shout out.
Period.
Yeah,
definitely.
But
yeah, I take a lot of skip, and we all do, if you're not taking, we don't reinvent the game. I'm not reinventing the game as a coach. I'm taking things that I've gotten from all kinds of guys in my life, teammates, buddies, everybody I played with. I've balled it all up into my style of coaching, and all we are is veterans in the dugout, and I'm just going to give it back to the guys in a veteran type of way. That's really all coaching is, and I support my guys. I'm not the Augie Garrido. I don't get in your face and spit on you. It's not my style of coaching. I think the information and just being able to present the information the right way and getting to know your guys. There's only a certain amount of guys that can handle getting ripped on. There's some guys who just need to be talked to, and there's some guys who just need a good pat in the butt, and you got to know your players before you coach them. And we learned all that along the way. And Skip, I talk to Skip every other week. I still give him a phone call and pick his brain, and that's what it's all about.
You know what? It actually, you brought up it just brought up ideas as you were talking. What are you looking for kids or for athletes now that you have a wider grasp, and you may be pulling from a Division I because he got lost in the shuffle, and you're like, hey, at Saddleback, this kid would be awesome for us. I need to put the best 9 players on the field. And then you're looking in high school, like that recruiting has completely changed too. What's the mindset in there?
My mindset is I usually like to get to the ballpark early because I want to see the first kid that walks into the dugout, and then I want to see the one who's the last one to walk out. For me, the first one to show up and the last one to leave is my kind of dude. I'll turn him into a player because he loves it. It's the guy that shows up last and leaves first. That, I don't care how talented that guy is. He's not going to help my team win. The chemistry, creating, what you talk about having character or what you bring to your program, and creating those types of things is your veteran guys bring the new guys along with them, and they show them how things are done. And for me, when I go to a high school game, I try to get there early, and I want to see the first kid to walk in that dugout and the one who's the last one to leave. That's what I look for. They're all talented or they wouldn't be playing.
I don't think what you just said was gold. That is something every parent, every athlete, every high school coach should hear. Because we're talking about this changes in rules and Juco and college and all this stuff that's happening on longer terms and all that stuff. That what you just said is more important now than ever before.
Yeah, I believe that.
You don't just get a group that's good and then you may have a couple that fill in a roster. You're probably talking about a roster that's solid top to bottom, and now it's character.
100%. All the guys, being in the Orange County and in the Orange Empire Conference, this is the best JUCO conference in the country. obviously we're going to get talented players. Now, for me, I'm paying attention to who's in the weight room the longest, who's in the classroom the longest, who's sharing information in the dugout with his teammates, who are the natural leaders that people are going to want to follow. It's not always your most talented guy on your team. It's usually the hardest worker.
Yep.
But those are two different guys.
The leader.
Yeah.
You know, I used to do a little help with scouting for college. I know Chris has done some scouting. I know obviously your coach and does recruiting and all that. And I know that when I was asked to do some scouting, they were always asking what the kids were doing off the field. They could watch tape.
Mm-hmm.
They could watch tape all day long and see what the kids can do on the field. But they wanted to know what people were talking about in the stands, how they were reacting with kids off the field. Were they nice people? Did they pick other people up and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And so that what you're saying right now is, again, you say first person in, first person out, but you're also talking about the things that I just talked about. You're looking for that. As you said, classroom. How are they working in the classroom? Are they a good person? Are they going to be a fit? Are they going to screw up our team chemistry? Because that's really where I was beginning with this whole conversation. Is the first thing I wanted to talk about was chemistry. We're getting it to the end of our whole show here, but now that this whole dynamic's changing as well, how you're working with team chemistry there now as well too. That's going to be a whole different dynamic as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, culture's everything. You know, you see the teams that win and the guys that, you know, Super Bowls, World Series, whatever. It's not always the most talented guys that win. It's the guys who play for the guy right next to them. They'll live and die for each other. They love playing for each other. And again, that hustle beats talent all day long. I'll take 9 guys that just want to die for each other and aren't as talented, and I could win. We can win with those guys for sure all day long. And that's what I think we've done a good job at Saddleback doing. And gradually every year after year, we've gotten better. Now hopefully this year we can, you know, repeat as a state champion and keep the ball rolling. You know, it's not easy to win those things, and finally have one under my belt. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I love it. No, we only have so much time in each show and stuff because we have to break parts and all that stuff.
Tony, I could listen to you for hours, man.
Appreciate you having me, Chris. Yeah.
So we're gonna thank everybody for this show. Actually, I believe Coach Gomes is gonna come on for our next part, which is NIL. I hope. So our next show.
Yeah. Anytime you guys need me, please feel free to. Chris, you know how to get a hold of me, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So again, this was probably a more in-depth. Chris and I can go off the handle and we can go on tangents, but we were really focused on this, and I really love it. And I really hope people that are watching the show today they're actually getting involved in commenting, because there's a lot of stuff that people are going to be looking at, and some people may be coming to it right now and not even realizing this. So hopefully they're realizing these things are happening. Their kids may be coming up and they have to deal with these things, and hopefully we actually helped a lot of people as well. So amazing. Thank you for joining us here on What Up Sports. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, happy New Year.
I haven't seen you in a whole year.
Stop it.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to catch you on our next show. We're going to be talking about the NIL.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
What up, folks?